Sony or Blackmagic? I'll do it again. Blackmagic or Sony? Which one do you want? I don't know. Which one should you get? Maybe I do know. I do know. My answer is it depends. I say this in a lot of my videos because I like to choose topics that do not have a specific answer. Which one should you get? Blackmagic or Sony? That's a very good question. 5 different points I'd like to make. First one, dynamic range on certain cameras. 2, autofocus. 3, operating systems. 4, entry-level pricing. And 5, B-RAW versus S-Log 3. These are all things you want to think about when you are thinking about getting a camera. You should think about it. Okay, let's start with dynamic range. So, the FX3, FX6, let's stick with the FX3 and the Pixis 6K because those are the two closest in price. The FX3 is selling for about $4,000 right now. The Pixis 6K is selling for $3,000. And there are pros and cons to both of them. The dynamic range is something to talk about because there's a big difference between the Pixis 6K and the Pixis 12K. Because the Pixis 12K takes the same sensor from the Ursa Cine 12K into a box-style cinema camera, which is what the Pixis is. So it takes the sensor of a really expensive camera, or expensive for me, into a more affordable package. And that sensor has 16 stops of dynamic range. The Pixis 6K's sensor only has about 13 stops of dynamic range, which is still good. Because the FX3 has about 13 stops of dynamic range, 13.2 if we're getting specific. And Sony advertises it as 15, which is not correct, but whatever. Gerald Undone did a bunch of tests and he's never wrong, so shout out to him. Dynamic range is similar, so you shouldn't base why you get the camera off that. What I mainly want to talk about is the autofocus system. Sony's autofocus is leading. It's top of the market. Really, really good. Still leading in all categories. It can recognize human eyes. It can recognize animal eyes. It can track things very quickly, very effectively. Great for sports photography and videography. It's great. Blackmagic, however, only has autofocus on their 6K full frames camera. I think it's just called the Blackmagic 6K, and that's a great camera. My friend has it. He loves it. He uses it on tour without the autofocus, and he's able to, work with it and fly it on a gimbal. Surprisingly, that's a really big, bulky camera. It's about that big. My 7S3 is about that big. This versus this. There's a big difference on a gimbal, I promise. So, Sony has way better autofocus. Blackmagic, on the other hand, does not. Only on one of their cameras. It's looking like they're gonna bring it out to more of their future cameras, like the Pixis 6K and the Pixis 12K. It's looking like they're gonna bring autofocus to that, but even if they do, it's not gonna be as good as Sony's. Not even close. So, what are you gonna do with that information? If you're doing a lot of wildlife videography, if you're doing a lot of sports videography, if you're doing a lot of documentary filmmaking where you're tracking subjects on the go and you don't have a focus puller, get a Sony. If you're working on larger sets, if you're building out the camera, if you're working with heavier rigs, get the Pixis 6K. You can build that camera out very effectively, actually more than the FX6 in my opinion. And the FX6, if you get the Tilta cage, you can rig it out pretty big. So that's one thing. Operating system. Sony's operating system is insane. It's not insane and not in a good way. It's so hard to navigate. I have a hard time. I've been using it for years and I still have a hard time finding stuff. Like, I had to search for about 30 seconds on how to format the card before the video. I was like, shouldn't be this hard, Sony. Well, on Blackmagic, everything's on the side panel. specifically the Pixis and the 6K. They both have huge screens. Blackmagic's operating system is just head over heels above Sony's. Way better. An idiot could use it, is what I'm trying to say. You could be very, very stupid and still operate a Blackmagic OS system. I'm not saying you're stupid. You're not stupid. As I'm looking at the camera, you're not stupid. And whoever's watching this, you're not stupid. But if you are stupid, you could still operate a Blackmagic operating system. If you are smart, unlike me, you would have a hard time, even if you were very intelligent, have a hard time navigating the Sony system because it just doesn't make any sense. It has so many different subcategories, it's ridiculous. So I wouldn't recommend it for that. Do not get a Sony if you want to work quick. Entry-level pricing. Huge, huge, huge. Again, FX3, I covered this a little earlier, 4K, Pixis 6K, $3,000. That's a big price difference. And the FX6 costs about $6,000. If you're going to the Pixis 12K, which films in 12K, like in the name, and the FX6 only films in 4K, doesn't have an open gate sensor, doesn't film 12-bit, doesn't film to an external, no, it does film to an external drive, but you have to have an Atomos Ninja 5 in order to do it, which costs an extra $600. It gets pricey really quick. Blackmagic is really good at, oh yeah, you can record to an external drive of your choosing, as long as it's an SSD, like a Samsung SSD, you can record externally to that device with the Pixis, both the 6K and the 12K. Wonderful. Oh my gosh, I wish Sony did that. They don't. So if you find yourself wanting to save money on storage, go with the Blackmagic. I'm talking about pricing right now. It's also easier to build out a Pixis. It's cheaper. The monitor for the Pixis, highly recommend getting that because you have external control. I think it's $395. Not too bad. Last point, BRAW versus S-Log3. This is the main driver. I keep hyping Blackmagic up. Sony's really good too. I'm a Sony shooter. I'm trying to get into Blackmagic. I don't want to get rid of either of my camera setups because they both are so good at different things. And that's kind of why I'm making this video. S-Log3 is really, really good at capturing a lot of light data and compressing it into a small form factor, making the file sizes really small. They aren't that good at capturing color. That's the only problem. S-Log3, at least on the FX6, FX3, and the A7S3, all film it in 10-bit 422 format, right? Which is great. 10-bit color is wonderful. I've talked about this in other videos. With 10-bit, you're capturing 1.07 billion different colors. That's a lot. That's a lot. Way better than 8-bit, which is in the millions. 10-bit's wonderful. 12-bit, however, you can capture 68.7 billion colors in 12-bit, as opposed to 1.07. I mean, come on. That's insane. The versatility in post that you have is great. If you're a color grader, you're gonna have fun with BRAW 12-bit, but the only downside to that is the file sizes. The file sizes for BRAW are insane, so you're gonna spend more on storage in the long haul if you're shooting on the Pixis 6K or 12K, as opposed to shooting on something like the FX3. Because again, Sony did a wonderful job with their codec, capturing a lot of light information, compressing it into a small file size that you still have a lot of versatility with in color and with light, as long as you set your white balance right and it not taking up that much space. It's really good. To answer the question, Blackmagic or Sony? It depends. Do you find yourself being more of a film shooter on sets, not needing autofocus, having a designated first AC for a focus puller? Or do you do a lot of sports videography? Do you do documentary film work where you're capturing horses or cars or anything that you need autofocus for, people? Do you need the colors in post to get that filmic look you're looking for? Or do you really just need something that can look realistic that isn't too stylized? That's my answer to the question. It depends. But if you find yourself leaning towards what I just said with the Blackmagic, go with Blackmagic. They're a very reliable company. If you buy any of their products above $500, I believe, you get DaVinci Resolve, which is wonderful. I edit, color, do sound on DaVinci Resolve. Best editing platform in the world. Adobe sucks. I wish I could scream that from the rooftops much louder than I can right now. Subscription-based models are not where it's at, people. I promise. So, Blackmagic rocks. Sony, they're really good. They're still really good. Pricing is more expensive than Blackmagic. Like you could get if you're going for an entry-level Blackmagic, you could still get 12-bit B-Raw, by the way. You could get like a Blackmagic Pocket 4K for $1,200, brand new, 900 used. That's not bad. Maybe less. I think I saw one for 800 today on Facebook Marketplace. So it's a good spot. You could really get a cheap B-Raw, a cheap Blackmagic camera and be really set for a long time. And you can build it out just fine. I'd recommend the Pixis 6K if you want to go for a cheaper route while still having the range and color versatility that B-Raw brings by getting the Pixis. You know, you get 12-bit B-Raw, it's great. So yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, leave a like, dislike it. If you hate me, leave it in the comments, because I read them. I totally won't take it to heart. Okay, thanks. Bye.